We have a really powerful show for you tonight. Stay tuned. Hooked on Fishing's next.
Oh, yeah, there he is, there he is. Oh, yeah.
Eat it. You're right there. I can't move it. You just got to eat it. Oh, he ate it. I dropped it in his mouth and he ate it. Oh! I couldn't move it. I couldn't move it, so I just lifted it up out of the water and slammed it on the water.
Hooked on Fishing is brought to you by the Original Marine Surplus, not your ordinary marine surplus store.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to Hooked on Fishing, brought to you by Marine Surplus down in Braden and Sarasota and Fort Myers. Well, like I said in the open, we have a powerful show for you tonight. That means we were down at the power plant. Let's take a look, see what we have for you tonight. Power Plant Fishing Series 1. We will be visiting the west coast of Florida power plants through the next couple of months, and we'll be showing you all about it and how to do it and what's biting in those particular places. We'll be taking your calls and emails. And our special guest tonight is Captain Joel Brandenburg, who was gracious enough to take us to the Apollo Beach power plant. And Joel, welcome to the show, and thanks for taking us down there.
Thanks for having me.
Joel, the power plants offer a lot of variety this time of year. And what are some of the things you can catch in the power plants?
Well, it is definitely a smorgasbord of fish there. We catch a lot of jacks on topwater plugs, which we'll see in the segment, of course. We also, today, I caught black-tip shark, caught bonnethead shark, caught Spanish mackerel. We catch pompano there. We also caught a redfish, which we'll see on the show there, nice redfish. A lot of snapper, ladyfish, some real nice tarpon, and they're about the size of the tarpon that we have here in the studio on your desk. You know, those nice 20, 30 pounders.
The right size.
Yeah.
What makes the power plants such a good place to fish this time of year?
It's the warm water. When the bay gets cold, the fish converge to the hot water outflow there at the power plant, and it's just a bunch of fish in a small area, and it's just like finding a pond with a dried up pond with a bunch of fish in it, you know.
So the peak time for the power plants, and there it is right there on your screen. That'll give you an idea of what the Apollo Beach power plant looks like, also known as the Big Bend power plant. You can get into some of those little canals right there are the warm water outflows and also inflows. They've got to take water in for the big generating plants, and then they blow it back out. The winter time in the cold, when the water temperature on the outside of the power plant is there, the warm water comes out. The winter time is the prime time. Is there anything going on around those things other times of the year?
Yeah, there's great snook fishing in the springtime there. There's great red fishing. The trout come into the grass flats right outside the power plant because the water's still relatively warmer. When you get into the dead of summer and the bay gets real hot, the power plant becomes a little bit too hot for the fish. In fact, it becomes so hot that you can't come in there with live bait in your live well or they'll boil. So,
now there are definite homeland security issues when you are fishing the power plants, and the signs are there. So pay attention to the signs, and if you don't pay attention to the sign, the security man will come out and let you know.
When he comes out with the M16 and the blowhorn, you know you've gone too far.
Well, Joel, one of the things that, besides the hot water, there's a lot of structure around there. I mean, they've got seawalls and riprap and all. That's got to be good habitat for fish.
It's great habitat. A lot of the walls that you'll see there, you'll see giant rocks coming down into the water. And if you run alongside it with your depth finder, you can see a pretty significant drop-off there. If you fish those drop-offs, you'll just get every kind of fish that's in there. They like to hang on those edges.
Now, you don't just fish the power plant. You're down in the Ruskin area, Apollo Beach area. Tell me about the area that you fish down on the South Shore.
Well, normally during the spring and the fall, I'll concentrate on Bishop's Harbor, Cockroach Bay, Shell Point. I do a lot of fishing in front of Inlet Little Harbor. I'm a pro staff guide out of Inlet Little Harbor. In the summertime, I really concentrate on the Kitchen, Alafaya, Bayside Marina. But in the wintertime, when fishing's weak everywhere else, it seems like that's when the power plant is the strongest. So I concentrate on the power plant in the wintertime.
Okay, well, we're going to show you the power plant in the wintertime, and when we come back from this timeout, we'll be taking your emails and doing some trophy case, and we'll have some fishing with Captain Joel Brandenburg. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hooked on Fishing is brought to you by the original Marine Surplus, not your ordinary marine surplus store. Monday through Sunday, catch 47 Tampa Bay Sports Television, the only channel dedicated to Tampa Bay sports, brings you more local sports action than any other channel in the Bay Area. 7 days a week from 6:30 to 7, start your night with outdoor adventures. Then it's the 7 o'clock Fish Block with your favorite fishing show. Every day from 8 to 9, we keep you informed with Primetime Sports. Game Time at 9 brings you the best local prep and college sports. Catch 47 Tampa Bay Sports Television can be seen only on Bright House Networks.
Hi, I'm Tony Dungy, National Spokesman for All Pro Dad.
And I'm Kevin Hyman of Bright House Networks. And if you're a father,
We're challenging you to commit to be a better dad by starting an All Pro Dad's Day in your neighborhood.
All Pro Dad's Day is a 1-hour monthly breakfast before school with fathers and their kids.
During that hour, you'll talk about meaningful topics while enjoying time together. For a free DVD on how to get started, go to allprodad.com or call this number. Together, we can turn Bay Area fathers into All Pro Dads.
Sports fans, catch the Beef O'Brady's High School Scoreboard Show, the only hour-long program dedicated to covering high school sports in the Bay Area.
The Beef O'Brady's High School Scoreboard.
Ranked number 1 in our scoreboard.
The Kane Crazies going for 31-0.
I can't compete at that level.
For the show, Eric, it's time for the hot time. Winter Haven coming up.
The Beef O'Brady's High School Scoreboard Show every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Catch 47 Tampa Bay Sports Television, and the Beef O'Brady's High School Scoreboard Show can be seen only on Bright House Networks.
I get people involved in saving the environment. That's why I volunteer.
When I teach computer skills, I help kids succeed in school. That's why I volunteer.
I helped raise awareness about the hazards of tobacco use. That's why I volunteer, to make a difference.
If you know middle or high school students who make a difference by doing volunteer work, have them ask their school principals about applying for a Prudential Spirit of Community Award, or encourage them to call 1-888-450-9961.
Monday through Sunday, catch 47 Tampa Bay Sports Television, the only channel dedicated to Tampa Bay sports, brings you more local sports action than any other channel in the Bay Area. 7 days a week, it's Primetime Sports from 8 to 9 with Bucks Extra Point, the longest-running Bucks program. It's insightful and entertaining. High School Scoreboard, the Bay Area's only hour-long program dedicated to prep sports. And get in-depth sports stories and reports on Bay Sports with Dick Crippen. Catch 47 Tampa Bay Sports Television, only on Bright House Networks.
Flight 828, now boarding at 89.
Mr. Gilmore, your foursome is on the team. Have fun and hit 'em straight.
What's more fun than a round with your friends?
Nice shot.
To discover all the ways you can get more golf in your life, visit playgolfamerica.com.
Play golf, America.
Welcome back to this segment of Hooked on Fishing. This is the Real Action segment. Captain Joel Brandenburg is our guest tonight. And we've been talking about the power plant action, and Joel, we're going to take a look at it. I'm not sure if you saw the tease, then you saw Captain Bill get excited. Joel was talking about, it was really nice to see you get excited. I do get excited when I'm fishing. I get excited when I'm hunting, and I get excited when I'm doing a lot of things. But we've got a lot of excitement for you coming up in this next segment. So if everybody's ready, let's take a look in the big screen behind us and see how the fishing action was at the power plant.
That's a manatee with a tracking buoy on them. So they bring the manatees up on the beach here, and then they put these tracking buoys on them, and they they can track where they're going. All right, the plan is, guys, John, you can probably get up in the tower when we get close to here and spot us some fish.
Okay.
And this is Captain John Pava, by the way. He's a spotter today. He's a full-time guide here in Apollo Beach. And basically, John, we're going to call the power plant 12 o'clock. We're going to call Beer Can Island 6 o'clock. And down that way is 3, of course, and down this way is 9. And you just yell out to Bill and I, you know, School of Jacks, 20 yards, 3 o'clock, for example. And that's the way we'll do this up here. So,
what are you expecting to see, Joel, as you come across this flat? What are you expecting to see fish-wise?
What we'll see is we'll see a lot of big eagle rays. Sometimes those eagle rays have cobia underneath them, traveling with them. We'll also see big schools of jacks. The jacks are running between 5 pounds and 25 pounds. We also get a lot of sharks, mostly black tips and bonnet heads here. The dolphin, we'll see some dolphin around here that are, I know those aren't fish, but they're going to be corralling the jacks up. And that's sometimes to our advantage and sometimes to our disadvantage, and we'll see how that works. But a lot of fish in here right now.
And what's the main reason that they're drawn here? Why are they in here?
Well, the power plant's about 10 or 20 degrees warmer than the rest of the bay because of the hot water outtake. And they want that warm water here during the wintertime, so it seems like a lot of fish in the bay just converge to this power plant.
I know that some people fight to get in as close as they can to where they'll let you get in the outlet, in the outflow. But doesn't the warm water extend way out past that?
It does. It does. Of course, it just seems the closer that you can get to the intake, the better. I guess the warmer, the better. I talked to a lot of old captains and anglers that fished out here before the power plant was closed to the public, and you could actually go right up into the warm water intake and cast right into it, and that was the best spot.
We've probably shown you more ways to hook a shrimp than any other kind of bait. We've shown you the ways to go underneath the horn and then come up from the bottom to the top through the horn, how to thread it on from the back, how to go crosswise in the tail, but this is from the bottom to the top into the tail. This is another good way. What it does, it allows the shrimp to swim. Shrimp actually swim backwards if you watch them. So this is a good way for a nice natural presentation. We're just going to flip up and around these pilings and let that shrimp do his thing. What do we got there, Joel? Feeling good, huh?
Yeah.
Got that old familiar fight to it? Yes, sir, buddy. They got some nice ones around here.
We're going to edit out these catfish, right?
Oh, redfish. A redfish. We were calling it a catfish. Look.
Nice red.
Yeah, Mr. Red. Got them in the sleeper holes. Get off there. Did a little shrimp along that rocky edge. This fish is so warm from the water being down there. It's unbelievable.
Got them right in the corner there.
Small eyes. The mouth is, you see it's down on the bottom. Nostrils here. See how the mouth is, the point of the nose is here and the mouth is down here below. So he has to kind of eat, has to come up and eat like that. There's the nostrils. Big heavy scales for protection. Part of the drum family. And welcome back to Hooked on Fishing. Captain Joel Brandenburg is our guest, and that is the first in a series of lots of action coming from the Apollo Beach Power Plant, and we were there this past Tuesday. Let's go to the emails. We get lots of emails, and we appreciate all your emails, and keep sending them. If we don't answer them right away, be patient. If we get a lot of them, we'll try to get to them just as soon as we can. All right, Will down in Sun City Center asks, what would you say is the best live and artificial bait to use when trying to target Jack Crevalle? Joel, what do you like for jacks, live and artificial?
Well, I would say that the best bait for jacks at the power plant during this time of year is going to be your greenbacks and your thread fins. However, they're tough to find this time of year. Next best bait, and you can buy this at any bait shop, most every bait shop, is your pinfish. I'd say for every one pinfish, for every 10 pinfish you throw out there, you'd probably catch one in comparison on a lure. So it's probably 10 to 1 live bait pinfish to lure. As far as lures go, we used the Azuri minnows, and they hit well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. That's a good one. Will, I like live bait. Well, first of all, let me say that jacks aren't real picky. If something is out there moving, those guys are going to be slashing it. I guess as a live bait, I would say a white bait, greenback, something like that, scale sardine. And an artificial, we were using the Azuri crystal minnows. Those worked extremely well. I actually had not used those very much for jacks. I'd always used a soft plastic or a white bucktail. So I guess when it boils down to it, just throw whatever you got, as long as it's moving. Although, you know, I was throwing one rattle trap type of a lure that looked same color that crystal minnow looked like and was not getting any hits. It had the same action, just a different shape or something.
Well, you're right. They're not real picky, but every once in a while you'll find a lure that they just don't like.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that was the one I had. I took that off, by the way.